So for this recording, I'm going to try to see if we can get the Ambleside project done. As you can see, in the course outline, there's a lot to do on that particular image. You need to clean up the windows there because there's a lot of junk in there. You need to get rid of the van. You need to erase her. And then therefore, of course, fix the arch behind her. Can't speak today. Add some text somewhere, as well as some locator maps. So the easiest to do that, start with that, is, well, number one, what I want to do is I want to straighten up the image because the tower is a little bit like that Tower of Pisa. It's a little bit leaning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the straighten tool right there, and I'm going to find my vertical right here. And then right there, it's a little better already. So I'm just going to stretch this out a little bit. And I'm going to use the clone stamp tool to fix the sky later on, and the texture on the ground as well. So I'm just going to crop it right at the corner of the wall and the ground here. And on the left-hand side, it doesn't really matter from this at this point. So I'm going to click OK on that. Already it's looking a little better. So first thing first, you want to use your spot healing tool right there to, I don't know, maybe it'll fill that corner right there. And yes, it did. Look at that. There's another trick as well, is you can select with your Lasso tool, for example, you select a little bit of this area and you select the whole area right here, and you go under edit fill, content aware fill, sorry, and that does yeah, there you go. See, so it picks up a little bit of the texture around it, and then you can see on the right hand side the preview, and then you just go, sure, okay, there you go, done. So there's also that trick as well. It kind of messed up the corner of the wall, of the path right there with a little bit of the wall extra texture. So switch to your clone stamp, increase the size of your brush with the square brackets, select an area right here that you want to clone, and then you just clone it on top right there. Oh, it actually made a new layer. Well, look at that. So what you can do is you can do with a clone stamp, you can go only within the same layer up here, or you can go all layers. So that allows me to pick a sample from a different layer and then apply it to the current layer I have, right? It's not bad, it's pretty cool, right? Because that's my layer right there. That's my layer right there, and then I'm picking a sample from the other image back that is behind it. Right? So for to erase her, of course, same thing. It's pretty quick, with the clone stamp tool, you pick an area that has a little bit of an edge, that I'll pick a little bit of the rock right there, and then you kind of just clone that. And then I'm going to clone this area right here, about right there. I don't want it to be too repetitive, so I'm picking it from various spots and angles, and it gets a little right here. And you can do that very, very quickly, right? You don't have to be super precise, or it's a bit of a textured wall, so try not to have a repeating pattern. That's the tricky part, right? So that's why I'm sampling it from various angles right there, from this side right there, and then I sample that, and then I sample this guy right here, and then I sample that guy right here, and then it's just quick and dirty like this, right? I'm just gonna make it very, very quickly. I'm not gonna make it very, very pretty. It's just for demonstration purposes, but so you can do that. As for the arch, it's a little trickier. You can't really clone something that has that angle right there that you want to go into a vertical angle. So the easiest thing is you use your lasso tool, and then you select, let's say, a couple of stones right there, right, from your background image. You copy that and paste, creates a new layer right there, right, which is right here. And then you can move it around using your move tool right there. And again, the shortcut for move tool is V, right? So once you have that, you can go under Edit and hit Free Transform. Free Transform allows you to have the whole object right here, and you can go in the corner right there. You can rotate it, click and drag it. You can stretch it, make it smaller, bigger, whatever. Again, by pressing Command on the Mac, you have access to the white arrow right there that allows you to transform it any way you want. I believe on the PC it's what is it, Option? Maybe Alt? I'm not sure. Try it, find it. I'm not sure which one it is. And then you can just, again, just put them on top wherever you can. Again, this is a little too tall, so I'm just gonna stretch it like this. And because it's a little too dark, right, what I'm going to do is so first I'm gonna name my layers, right? Stone arch, that's a pathway. So for this particular stone arch that I want to, kind of match the color, what I can do is I can go under Image, Adjustments, and then I do a quick Levels, right? So Levels is just Command L for on the Macintosh keyboard, and Levels is just that. It's so you can go by channels, which right now we're gonna ignore that, but you can play with that and explore with that. But right now I'm just going to change all channels all at once. So each color basically RGB. Right now it's can be an influence. Right now it's all colors all at once. And as you move that scrubber over, you make it darker, and then you use the light colors, and then you make it brighter. So here it kind of matchy. It's a better color, better tone as well. You can also change the whole output level as well within that as well. That allows you to play with that. But anyway, so there's multiple ways you can use the levels as well. You can choose your white spot right there, as well as your black point. So white point and black point. So that's better when you're using mostly a grayscale image. If you want to, clean up kind of like a murky light gray background on the white image, and you just pick your white, and then it'll just do the levels for you. It's pretty cool. But anyways, so explore a little bit the levels palette, which allows you to change the intensity of an image. And again, so I'm not going to do it the whole thing, but this is what I would do. I would select another spot in that arch right here, for example, and I'm just gonna quickly do that, copy and then paste again, switch to my move tool, which is V on the keyboard, and then it's right here, right? So once I have my move tool selected, I can just, drag the layer wherever it is. It doesn't really matter. And again, free transform, which is Command T, and then I can rotate it, I can tweak it, I can, change things around however I want, right? Make it a little taller, and I'm just gonna put it about right here, because it has to be, somewhat realistic looking. But this is what I would do for this particular arch. I would just, cut and paste. My Lasso tool has an option to have a feather or not. Right now it's a hard edge, so it has a 0 feather. You can see it's a very, very sharp edge. If you add a little bit of let's say 1 or maybe 2 pixels, as a feather, and then select, oops, the wrong tool. Select this guy right there. I was in the wrong tool, apologize for that. And then let's say select this area right here quickly, and copy paste on that guy. Switches over again to your move tool. And you can see that it has a little bit of a softer edge, right? So the bigger the feather, the more fuzzy edges it has, right? Which allows you to, again, let's say a 10 pixels feather, allows you to blend those, chunks of image that you want to grab. See, you can see it rounds the corners. Copy, paste. Ooh, wrong one. Sorry. Copy and then paste again, and then see, like you see that edge has that really, really light feather around, right? So that allows you to blend, parts of an image quite naturally like this, right? It creates a soft edge instead of having a zero feather edge. As you can see here, it's really hard edge. This one is a little softer, and the one behind it is even softer, right? So that really helps you blend things in, especially when you copy paste layers like this. Right now, I'm going to back to 0 here. So you can do the same for the windows. You can cut and paste. You can use the clone stamp tool again. So because it's a bit of a pattern, right? So you can you know, reduce the size of your brush, add a little bit of hardness to that brush so it's not too fuzzy again. So you know, so you blend it a little bit more naturally. So here I'm going to pick just that corner right here, and I'm just going to duplicate it about right there. Right there. I'm just going to go across till I hit the window, and I don't want to repeat that, the top of the window. So I'm just going to stop right there. Oh, I'm getting the beach ball. And, you know, and again, you know, just, you know, blend that. Oops, I should have aligned things a little better than that. There you go. And what you can do as well with your stamp tool is you can change the flow or the opacity as well. Right now it's at 100%, but if you change the opacity, let's say 35%, I'm going to try to blend, see like the darker part of that window with the lighter part of that window. So I'm just going to pick that area right here, right, align it up, and because it's at 30%, it just blends in a little nicer like this. So it has a little bit of a darker shadow in the corner. And that's how I would fix those windows, right? Using the clone stamp is probably your friend. So you have a little bit of work on those, but you know, shouldn't take very long. And it's the same thing with the van again, right? So what you can do, same thing again, you select this area with your lasso tool. I'll give it let's say a 3 pixel feather to keep it a little bit soft. And what you can do with your lasso tool, you have the regular loose, or I should say lasso, and then the polygonal, sorry, lasso. So this is what the regular lasso does. This is what the polygon one. It's like, you know, you have to click once, click, you know, every click, and it's a straight line in between, right? Oh, and another trick is to, when you want to deselect that, you say I want to get out of this tool. So you double click anywhere, finishes your selection, and if you click again within the shape, that deselects it. But don't click again, right? That's the idea. So what you can do is you can switch between those two tools just by pressing a key again. So your regular lasso tool, you can be like really loose right here, for example. I'm just going to do that very quickly. And then from here, I want to do a straight line. So I press Option and then let go of the mouse, and now it's stuck to the straight selection option that this tool has. And then, you know, if I bring my last cursor right here and let go of the key, this is what happens. It just finishes your selection. So play again. The Option key is your friend, and then with your lasso tool. So try that, you know. So here, for this particular van, I could do multiple things. I could do a clone stamping. I could do a content-aware fill. So I'm going to try the content-aware fill. So you can do, again, edit, content-aware fill, or just go under fill. And here you have, you know, your different options that you have. You have foreground color, if you want to fill it with blue, background color, which is white, which are your colors right there in the bottom left of your tool. You can pick a specific color, content-aware, a pattern, black and white, 50% gray, etc. So those are like kind of shortcuts to get to black or white. If you don't have black or white within your colors, in your foreground and background color selected, you can always go to the fill tool. So here I'm going to just do content aware, color adaptation shirt turned on, blending mode. It's kind of like a layer option, right? So you have all those layer options of darken, multiply, overlay, and all of those are basically your blending mode of any kind of brush tool or your layer palette, etc. And of course the opacity. So I'm just going to go, yeah, sure, 100%. Let's see what it does. And here it does not create a new layer as per earlier, and you can see it's messing things up a little bit. So we're going to undo that. And then we're going to use content-aware fill instead of the fill. So here it opens it up Here you can see a preview, right? So this is the cool thing. So you can go, hey, menu minus that area right here. That's a little better. Yeah, and you can see right there, the van is pretty much done. That's it. Go OK. And boom, there it is. So you just have a little bit of a sliver of the van. And then that's where I would use the clone stamp tool again. You know, letter S to switch to your tool right there. You can see the letter S right there. I switch over to that, and then again, it's a linear pattern, linear design. So I can just, you know, oh, I'm on a really light opacity right here. I'm at 36%. To switch your opacity very quickly as well. So instead of pulling down the menu, scrubbing over your percentage of the opacity, you can switch directly by hitting your numbers key. So if I hit 1, oops, I don't have it. Sorry, wrong thing. First, clone stamp tool. I don't have to have it selected in the opacity right now. I have 1%. But if I hit 1 on my keyboard, it goes to 10%. 2, it goes to 20%. 7 is 70%, and 0 is 100%. So these are like quick shortcuts to be able to change your opacity very quickly. So use the keys. You don't even have to use the scrubber anymore. I mean, I don't. So here, since I have a bit of a linear pattern here, I want to do this, right? I'm just going to quickly clean that up, roughly, and I'm just going to try to straighten up that wall. And I'm going to have that stone pattern repeating, which is not going to be very happy. So I'm just going to get rid of that right here. And I'm just going to do that very quickly like this, very quickly. Yeah, and it's going to repeat the stone right here, and I can always get rid of it later on. And here I want to again soften my brush and change my opacity to, let's say, a 50 or 40%, just by hitting the number 4 on my keyboard. And see, you can blend it in a little better. Back to 100%, hit the 0. I'm just gonna get rid of that right there. There, the van is gone, just like that. So it's not perfect, but you know, gives you an idea. So you know, I would have to spend a little bit more time finishing the figure. Again, I would use the clone stamp tool to just get rid of most of her figure like this, to line things up, you know, very quickly, very roughly. Just gonna do that very quickly like this, and get rid of, you know, recreate the texture, whatever. The next part of this project is to bring in those locator maps, right? So those locator maps are in your assignment 3 asset folder, and there's multiple, right? So there's an Ambleside Lake District Park over the relief, the color version, the wayfinder within the city. There's a UK map vector, so you can open that up in Illustrator, or you can just drop it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that guy right there, which is a vector Illustrator file. So I'm just going to literally just drag it in from my folder. It tells me to go, oh, open a smart object. Sure, okay, right? And then there it is, right? So it's placed right there. And right now it's still in editing mode because it's not placed in yet. And I can just hit enter to accept. There it is, just to accept the placement of this. And as you can see in your layer palette right here in the bottom right corner of your layer icon, you've got that little tiny little weird square looking thing because it's a smart object. The smart object is this. It's a vector placed inside a pixel-based or raster-based image. So right now it looks really crummy because it's really small. But if I increase the size of this thing, again, I go under Edit, Free Transform, and then I press and hold my Shift key, grab a corner, and then scale it up. Oh, it does not stay proportional. Beats me. Why does it do this? So I'm just going to use the width and height measurements right here. I'm just going to make sure that it's linked between the two of them right there in your control bar. I'm going to bump it to 200% and enter. So the cool thing about, again, this file is you don't lose resolution. You can increase the size of this thing without loss of resolution. So this is one of the vector, the locator map for this particular project. So I can place that in here somewhere. Like right now it's kind of like whatever. I'm just going to drop that in here, and I'm going to use the tourist map as well. So same thing, I'm going to drop it in. I'm going to scale it up a little bit. Oh, how come it's not doing this? Why? 200%, sure. Oh, maybe more than that. 450%. Yeah, there you go, 450%. And it's behind my pathway. So I'm just going to move it up, change my order of my layers right here, move those up. So I can have the UK map, that guy right there, and I'm just going to create a quick and dirty layout right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to put that on top, slightly overlapping right there, because I want to focus on this area. And this is the basically the locator map of where it is in the UK. I'm going to make it a little bigger. Let's see, like that. So it doesn't look like a weird brown blotch. So I'm just going to place it right here for now. And I'm going to, any vector file, any layer, whether it's a vector, smart object, or text, or whatever, you can access all the filters. So in this particular one, I want to do maybe a little drop shadow. And so I go under layer style, and let's say, for example, the drop shadow, inner shadow, no, maybe not. So I want to put like a drop shadow to, basically separate the image from its background, kind of thing. So let's see, opacity, 30%. As you can see, it gets a little darker around the edges. So I'm going to put the distance on that, a little spread, so it gets a little bigger, right? You can see the size, as you make it bigger, it gets really ugly here. So I'm going to reduce the spread to make it a little softer, right? And it separates the file. Basically, it has a drop shadow that looks like it's pasted on top. What you can do as well, right now it's a multiply by default. You can change the blending mode of your drop shadow. You can change the color as well if you click on the little black square. And what I want to do is I want to keep it within the same colors. So here I have some green going on, right? So I can pick my color from my color slider right here, or I can literally just move over to the image and you see the eyedropper, and I can just pick that color right here from the tree right there, right? It's a little too dark, so I'm going to pick a brighter green right there, and you see the shadow changing right there. So if I pick a brown right there, the shadow is brown and you can barely see it. And if I pick a green, it's a little darker right there. And then from here, you can always, modify things, whatever. So I just want to, have a little bit of a green shadow on, so it's the same hue, same colors kind of thing. So I'm just going to click OK on that. So that's an example of an effect, simple effect that you can do. And you can add as many layers as you want, right? The town map or the district area, whatever. For example, the town map. Let's drag the town map in there as well. For some reason, it's an odd measurement right there, so that's kind of odd. I'm going to put it at 250%. That's too small. I'm going to link it. Let's do 400%. There you go. There's the town map. And again, you can place it wherever you want. Like I'm just going to put that here because it's kind of a boring area. I want to make sure that this is. Oh yeah, totally forgot. Need to fix the sky up there. But again, clone stamp tool, content aware. You'll be done right there. So same thing. I want to put it up here because there's not much to look at right here. And then next step in this particular exercise is to add some text. So I'm going to switch over to my type tool right there. And again, type tool, the shortcut is T on your keyboard, right? And it gets you to the type tool. And here you have multiple options. You have a horizontal, a vertical text option. So I'm gonna stick to the horizontal, right, regular stuff. And I think the text option, the text, sorry, that you have to type in is Ambleside, the Lake District. So you pick a typeface. For now, I'm just going to open my character palette right here on the right hand side. And as you can see, you can type the number for the size of the font you want, let's say 100 point, and I hit tab to switch over. But what you can do as well in Photoshop is you can have that little hand, that little scrubber, and as I click and drag over the letter, it reduces and increases. And it's a really cool little thing in Photoshop that does not exist in Illustrator, it does not exist in InDesign, it only exists within Photoshop. And it's a cool thing to take advantage of. So I want to pick a font that does not look like a corporate or government form. I'll pick something that has a little bit of a personality, and I'm not sure what is installed on this computer. So American typewriter, yeah, no, that looks like crap. Brush script, please don't. There's not very many stuff installed on this computer. So pick something that is, a little bit more relevant to the era, let's say, of that medieval tower type thing. So since I have a very limited amount of fonts installed in this computer, I am going to use a horrible font that I hate. It's Apple Chancery right there. And then, so again, I haven't selected anything. It's still automatically selected. It fills it up with lorem ipsum, which is for placement only. I can change the size of the type, the color, all that stuff right here, right? So right now it's selected, so it's inverted. It's not green. It's actually the color of the type, and right now is blue. And again, same thing. You click on it. You can select your color, either from the color slider right there or from the image right here. So since I want to keep it again consistent with the rest of the image, I'm going to pick a color right here that is, the sandy color from one of those sandstones there. I'm just going to pick that one right here. That seems about right. Sure, that's good. So again, it's still selected. I haven't changed anything, but because it's automatically selected, I can type right away, right? So I can go Ambleside, right? So I would just want to keep Ambleside as the one word right there that I want to play with. So here, I have my text layer right here. Now I want to make it bigger, right? So what do? I can go to my type tool, select it again. Or if you're in a different layer and you want to switch right away, you just double click on your T icon right here in your layer palette, and that selects your text right away. And again, use your little scrubber right here and go make it bigger right there. So the cool thing about type right now is now it's still, it's an object that has more capability than what it looks like. If you have your text selected right there, in your control bar on the top right here, you can see that there's create a warp text. So this is what you can do right there. You click on it, and then you have the option of making an arc, a rise, right? So you have all those options right there, right, built in right into your layer palette, into your control palette right there. You can again double click on it, and you can completely turn it off, right? So there's that option of playing with type a little bit. Another option is I'm going to make a duplicate of that layer, and I'm going to type something else in there. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to double click on that, and it's called the Lake District. Oops, I can't type today. District. I'm going to change that type just to have a little contrast, right? So instead of Apple Chancery, which is an awful looking typeface in my personal opinion, I'm going to choose Avenir Condensed, for example, and I'm going to go with a bold. And right now, for some reason, italic right there, the full italic is selected, so I can turn that off, and this is the actual typeface. I didn't check the Ambleside there. Yeah, it was already, there you go, that's better. Yeah, because there's only one style in that typeface. So I'm going to keep that Ambleside just like that. The Lake District, however, I'm going to change it around. I'm going to change the color again, double click on it, change the color, pick a different color. Let's see, like that light green, for example. And then I'm going to do this. I am going to, on my type layer right there, I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go convert to smart object. And again, you remember that little corner right there from all those images that we brought in? So you can convert that as a smart object. It's still text, but I cannot edit it, right? If I switch to my text tool, I can't edit it. I can't select it. As you can see, it created a new layer right there. So I'm just going to get rid of that one. However, if I want to change that, I double click on my Lake District layer right there, which opens up a new image and called a PSB, right? And that is your editable text, and it's a smart object basically, right? So from here, I can call it I don't know, get rid of the, for example, Lake District right there. All I have to do here is I go File, Save. It doesn't save anywhere. It doesn't save on your computer. It just saves the smart object layer. You close it, and now, just like that, it's updated. The cool thing about changing the text like this from a regular type layer like Ambleside to a smart object into the Lake District is this. If I select my Ambleside right there, and if I go into free transform, the only thing I can do with this particular layer is I can scale it. I can rotate it, and that's it. Even if I press my command thing, I can skew it as well. But that's the only thing I can do, right? I can skew it or whatever, right? So I can give it a little bit of a flair if I want, just by using the free transform. So for example, I can put it right here. It's going to be super, super cheesy. So the cool thing about the difference with the type that is in the smart layer is the cool thing is you can do this. Again, you go back into edit, free transform right there. And then what I can do is by pressing my option key down, right? Just like what I did with Ambleside is I can, again, I can rotate, I can skew it. But the cool thing is by pressing my command key down and press and hold that command key down, nice, I can grab each anchor of every corner right here, right? And that allows me to put in perspective. So for example, I can put Lake District right there. I can be a virtual graffiti artist right there, and then run it against that gray wall right there, for example. Right? And you just rotate it and skew it the way you want, for example. Now that I have this, I can change my blending mode of my layer to change the opacity so the texture shines through, but it's not very, very pretty. But I can change my blending mode to, let's say, darken, color burn, linear burn. That's sometimes it disappears because it's a light color screen. Yeah, so that color dodge is interesting. It's a little bit bright. So color dodge is cool. Overlay disappears, because again, it's a light color, right? So you can try different things right there. You have all the options, luminosity, color, hue, divide, again, difference is not bad. Difference is not bad. Let's keep difference right there going. And then I'm going to pick a different color. So I double click on it and I change my color, and then I'll pick a more orangey, darker color. Brownish kind of thing. Save that again, close that layer, and it's absolutely awful. So that didn't work. So maybe the color dodge is my linear dodge is my option right there. Linear dodge, sure. You can see the little bit of the texture of the wall showing through. So that's kind of like basically this exercise in a nutshell, basically. So I hope you got all that. So that's why I'm recording it, so you can play, pause, stop, rewind, and play again and get it all. One quick word of advice is always name your layers. Right now, most of the imported layers are named properly. The Lake District, as soon as you type something, it picks up whatever you type as a name of a layer. So yeah, the Ambleside maps that I grabbed from the assets folder. The stone arch, that's the one I renamed. I renamed that one. But as you can see, I have layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. So just imagine if you have a file that has like 60, 80 layers, and they all called Untitled 1, 2, 3, 5, 73, etc. And you're gonna kill yourself. So here again, all the stone arches, for example, are right here, right? So I can, call it again, double click on it, stone, copy that, double click on that, stone 2, for example, very, very quickly you do this, right? So you name your files. And then what you have right here is you have a bunch of layers that are just fixing basically the same thing, stone arch, so you can create a group. So within your layers palette right here, on the bottom right here, you have a folder icon. So if you click on that, you create a new group right there and you can name it again. So stones, for example. And now you can just literally just grab all of those, drag them in that folder right here, plop, and now it's in your folder. You can grab multiple by pressing the Command key, select multiple things at once. No, it's not going to let me do that. Shift key? Yeah, the Shift key. But I don't want the pathway. I can just grab that over. Stone arch. There. So now I can collapse those those groups, right? And I can turn them on and off all at once instead of having multiple layers all at once. So that's another cool thing to use are groups, and you can apply effects on the group or for the whole group, for example, instead of just individual layers as well. So that's a little bit more advanced layering capacity of Photoshop, but I just wanted to mention that. But grouping things into grouping a bunch of layers into one group, it's also a good practice as well, because it's a lot easier for you to work from, right, basically. I think I must have clone stamp. Yeah, there you go. See, I clone stamp the window along with, yeah. So I clone stamp my window patch into my stone layer. Not a good idea. So bad practice. There you go. There was a demonstration of what not to do, basically. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, so as I said, like this is like a mess right now. It's not finished, but it shows you how you can drag layers in, drag layers out. What you can do as well, as I said, I could drag that layer straight from my file window. But what you can do is you can just, literally just double click, open the file into Photoshop, and multiple ways. When you have two files open like this, right, you have your ambleside right here, file, and then you have this graphic right here. What you can do is you can literally just go with your marquee tool, select all, or go under what is it, image? No, file, sorry. I don't know. I know the shortcut. Command A to select all, right? And then you can go literally just go copy, go back to the other layer, and then paste, and then that's your image right there being dropped in a layer automatically, right? And that gives you a good idea of the definition of that particular layer. Another cool trick as well is you go from this file. You don't have to have it selected. You switch to your move tool right here, V again on your keyboard, and you literally just click and drag it, and then you drag it to the other tab right here, and you place and hold right here, and then drop it in. So you can swap images from one file to another without having to cut and paste. And then there it is. And again, Command T for free transform. And I'm gonna put it at 50%, or actually 30%, because it's an ugly map that doesn't make any sense. And I'm gonna try to line it up right here, above the pathway. There you go. So there,